what tips do you have for helping people who feel guilty after they do get
Uh,
into the itch scratch cycle?
I normalize it for people. I think it's really when you remind people, this is what happens here. It's okay to do that. There are, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of people literally doing the same thing. It's okay. It's human. I think when you humanize it and you give yourself, it essentially adds a layer of self-compassion where it's not just why me. A lot of people that are holding this in alone, they do it and they're doing it in silence and they're thinking to themselves like, what's wrong with me? I'm so screwed up. I can't believe I do this. I can't tell people about it. Nobody will understand. And so, that's certainly one direction people can go. It tends to be very common. But I think instead, if you pull back a little bit and go, no, not that I like this to happen. Of course, I don't want this to happen. But it's normal. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be sad or upset that somehow I'm doing this. It's okay to be, feel sort of less than in a way that I can't control this. That experience is normal. And that's how most people feel here. It's very common. And when you learn that and learn it's okay, all of a sudden it provides a certain level of relief where not only do you feel a little lighter psychologically, but I think it actually helps people reduce continuing the cycle because then they're not feeling as bad about it in themselves. Because when people feel bad about their skin, instead of going, oh, okay, great, I'll stay away from it, they tend to then do more of it. So it's, being kind to not just with skin. I don't know, as much as I focus on skin, I'm also a regular, right, very normal kind of therapist too, in a lot of ways, and see a lot of clients outside of skin. I'm always amazed at how beneficial it is to work on being kind to yourself, and especially around skin, right? I think there's still a pretty big stigma attached to skin. It's getting a little better, and I think it's helping that, there's a lot of these kind of body positive movements where celebrities are being a little more open about this is what my skin looks like. This is my experience there. But I do think it's an area where it's conducive to people not being so kind to themselves. And so when you kind of remind yourself, no, it's okay. That's normal. It makes a huge difference. And you need to create a practice around it, right? Not just a one-off, but how are we going to kind of slowly shift in this lifestyle to be more kind? I think really helps in that area.
I love that you shared that because we often try to avoid those feelings of guilt, and a lot of us try to suppress it and to make it go away. But I really appreciate what you shared because it's so enlightening, especially for people who feel that way every day. They feel guilty for missing out on social activities, for not being able to be a good wife, a mom, a friend.
Right.
Um,
It very much mimics some other kind of mental health stuff. In the brain, so the way that, let me maybe back up a little bit. When we beat ourselves up, so it's exactly like you said, a lot of people either go like, let's fight this and we got to fix it, or let's avoid it. This is too much. And so this approach that I'm suggesting, it's neither or. It turns out that when we avoid it, it tends to exacerbate our fears and our kind of depression and negative self-esteem with it. When we learn how to sit with it in a kinder way, when we learn how to embrace it, bring in those feelings, even though they're not so comfortable at first, over time it changes. It's like anything, the way that if you never learned how to swim, you hop in a pool and immediately you're like, oh my God, this is a little overwhelming. But when you sit and you learn how to do it a little more and more, it becomes more normalized. Becomes less stressful. You feel more in control of it. It's the same with these feelings, and it's hard work, right? I mean, skin is very challenging, but I like very much how you said it, right? Learning how to. I think we're both kind of nearing it on the same thing. Instead of kind of running from it, learning how to sit with it a little bit more in a kind way. Baby steps, right? I always tell people little steps, one at a time. And as you kind of learn how to sit with it a little bit more and more, your tolerance, your ability to sit then expands. And then before you know it, you go, wow, this is a very different way of living with it.